Hello, I'm here to talk to you about Module 13 case study. Michael Hernandez was a student at Nottingham High School. He was recently paralyzed from the waist down in a football game. He now uses a wheelchair and requires wheelchair accessibility. Nottingham High School has not fully brought their building up to code to accommodate individuals with disabilities because of lack of funds. Miguel's counselor, Ms. Gusman, switched him into a different science class because his biology class was not wheelchair accessible. Miguel needed the class for college prep. Mrs. Hernandez, his mom, scheduled and had a meeting with the principal and Howard Carey, the Hernandez's attorney. Mrs. Hernandez made it clear that her son was entitled to equitable access to educational resources based on his disability. Legal issues. Under Section 504, schools are required to provide students free and appropriate public education for students with disabilities. This applies for ethical issues as well. Even if it was not a law, ethically, we should be providing students with disabilities everything that they need. Also, changing a student's class without talking to the student and or their parents is also an ethical issue. At my school, I know anytime that we're going to change anything on a kid's schedule, even if it's just class from the same exact class from first to third hour, we have to contact the parents and explain why and get their blessing. And there are various reasons why parents do not want their students' classes to be changed, even if they have the exact same teacher, different hour. Miguel Hernandez is being denied access to free and appropriate public education by his school due to his schedule change because the biology classroom does not have wheelchair accessibility. Facts for people. Superintendent Dr. Harvey, he has a great relationship with his staff and community. Principal would be Miss Gray. Miguel Hernandez is a sophomore who was just paralyzed from waist down after a sack in a football game. School counselor, Ms. Gusman. Mrs. Hernandez, Miguel's mom. The Hernandez's attorney, Howard Carey. And then the school population of 3,200 students. We are unsure of how long the staff has been employed or what their educational background is. We don't know what the other administrator or counselor positions are or how many there are, and we're unaware of the student demographic. We know it's a tight-knit community and it's an older community. We know that Nottingham High School was built in the 1950s, has trailers added on for classroom space, and there are also 2 middle schools and 6 elementary schools where we do not know the demographics, specific location, size of town. We don't know if it's rural, urban, or suburban, and we don't know the socioeconomic status. Based on lack of fundings and the added trailers, you could assume that it is a lower economic community, but that's not necessarily the case either. Programs. Nottingham High School is not up to code in terms of ADA. It has a good academic and football program. We can assume that it's public, but we don't know. It was mentioned that the superintendent has put together excellent programs. We're just unaware of what those excellent programs are. Were there plans for fundraising occurring to continue updating the school before this occurred? Stakeholders. Yes, the decision can be damaging to all the stakeholders involved. The Hernandez family, the district, the school, the principal, Ms. Gusman have an important stake in the outcome. The superintendent has not been consulted. All other stakeholders have been. I could learn more about the situation, but I know enough to make the decision. So Section 6, options and consequences. I have 6 different options. 1 is no action. Miguel stays in his new science class. Fire Ms. Gusman. 3, evaluate ways to find funds to make the biology classroom wheelchair accessible. 4, provide Miguel transportation to have the opportunity to take the biology course at the nearest college or community college. Option 5, switch the biology and other science classrooms. 6, take advantage of technology and have Miguel continue the biology course online or via Zoom. No action. Miguel stays in his new science class. There really are no pros to this other than he gets to graduate because he's meeting a requirement. Cons, the lawsuit. Miguel is not able to get his college credit, and there are jobs at stake for the counselor and the principal. Fire the counselor, Ms. Gusman. This shows the Hernandez family that the school is advocating for Mikkel, but you could also turn into wrongful termination. You could lose a perfectly good counselor. This was just kind of a mistake. I don't know her history, but she might be a great counselor that just made an error in judgment. And there still is no solution for Miguel's biology class. Option 3, evaluate ways to find funds to make the biology classroom wheelchair accessible. This will help prevent the issue in the future. So for other students that come into the school that need wheelchair accessibility, Mikkel has the opportunity to take his college course, and it prevents the lawsuit. Cons, it takes time to do renovation, and it takes time to find funds. Option number 4, provide Miguel transportation to have the opportunity to take the biology course at the nearest college or community college. This gives Miguel the opportunity to take his college course, and there's no lawsuit. It is not a long-term solution. His science class was third hour, so you would have to change his schedule for biology to be at the end of the day, and funding would still be an issue because the school would have to pay for that college course and transportation. Option number 5, switch the biology and other science classrooms. Miguel has the opportunity to take his college course. There's no lawsuit. This is also not a long-term solution, and it prevents wheelchair accessibility for the other science classes. So we're unaware of the demographics at that school or who else is in a wheelchair. Assuming that Miguel's the only one, then this would be a good option. Take advantage of technology and have Miguel continue the biology course online or via Zoom. Miguel has the opportunity to take his college course, and there's no lawsuit. It's also not a long-term solution. Loses part of class interaction, and there would be an issue with biology labs. The best option would be option 3 and 6. So Ms. Gray, the principal, switches the 2 science classrooms so Miguel has the opportunity to take his biology class. Meanwhile, the school district shows the community their need for donations so they can bring their school up to code for the well-being of each student. They talked about how this is a tight-knit community and how the superintendent has a good relationship with the community. They also talked about how they had an assembly just for Miguel when he returned. It seems that Miguel would not mind being an advocate for students with disabilities, and they could use Miguel to show the community how important it is that they update their school to get it up to ADA code. This would make sure that all stakeholders are involved. Implementing this decision, Ms. Gray informs Dr. Harvey of the situation and discussed the need for school improvement. The 2 science classrooms get switched. Apologize to the Hernandez family. Have a conversation with Ms. Gusman about talking to families before changing schedules. Evaluate fundraising for school improvement. And bring school up to code over the summer. If both science rooms need to be wheelchair accessible, use Zoom as an alternative, and schedule lab days in the room that is wheelchair accessible for students. So this would just be if this didn't work, like our backup plan would be students that have a wheelchair to attend class on Zoom, and then the science teachers would have to work with each other to schedule their lab days, which would be a slight inconvenience for the teachers, but we need to make sure that we are providing the best education that we can for our students. So they would schedule out their lab days, and that way the students who are in wheelchairs can attend those lab days. That is all. Thank you very much for watching my case study. Have a great day.